says,
Salad.
yeah,
That's a cost.
yes.
You're
Hybrid
live.
salad. And I was like.
Am I have the mics on?
That's what I was thinking.
All right, I'm gonna call the meeting to order at 7:01. Stand to the pledge. Bob? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I didn't.
What? How's the price?
Surprise.
All right, Missy, you'll take roll?
Sure, Robert,
Here.
Tanya,
Here.
Becky, here, Libby,
Here.
Fritz.
All right, we have a quorum. Can I get a motion to approve minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, moving on to new business. Dr. Jack Parker is on the agenda. He's the superintendent of Mount Vernon School Corporation. Don't see him. Has anybody heard from him?
And notified, Gwen contacted me, and I told her we had him to the gym at 7 o'clock.
Okay. All right, we can come back to him if he
And
shows
he'll
up.
be here in a minute. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to unfinished business. Compensation discussion for clerk treasurer. Is that you? Is it Joe?
Joe did that. Joe did the ordinance amending it, putting in for Missy to get the longevity and the HSA account. And he's-
At the last council meeting, it was brought up as far as compensation for the clerk treasurer. And there seemed to be some interest in coming up with a way to increase the pay or the benefit, I guess, for the clerk treasurer. And one of the concerns that the council had and that Alex was explaining was any kind of a bonus or certain types of pay will stay with that position. You can never take it away. So that pay just follows. Like if it was a bonus, the rest of the employees, they'd say, we're not gonna do that bonus anymore. The clerk treasurer will forever get that because once you started that, it does not go away. So after some conversation with Alex and what it appeared that the council was interested in doing, I reworded or I put together a salary amendment ordinance that would include the clerk treasurer and the HSA contribution, and it's not a bonus, it's considered health insurance or insurance premium that way. And then also included her in the longevity. So that was sent out prior to the meeting for you folks. And Alex looked at it and Bradley, I don't know if you've seen that.
Just for clarification, I asked Joe, because the minutes that we all just agreed to indicates that it does, an HSA contribution does count as compensation. But Joe provided this here when Alex was replying to us an email. If you guys want to see it, that for purposes of determining an increase or decrease in compensation of an elected town officer, the term does not include any of the following: payment of an insurance premium or payments in recognition of longevity, professional certifications, or educational advancements. So that's from Alex.
So why did you, Joe, include on the second page that stuff? I have nothing on there that changed, has it?
No, if you'll notice, everything in red is on the changes. This ordinance just, it restates the section 4 and section 5 of the ordinance. So everything else in there is, what I don't like doing is just amending and putting one line in there and you're pulling 3 or 4 different pages for sections and trying to read different.
So
He's
this
got the
is-
latest and greatest. What we did is we just restated sections 4 and section 5 of our current salary ordinance.
I wonder why that was in. Got it, okay.
Any other discussion?
So it's not salary.
According to Alex's email
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
it states that it is not.
I just want to make sure that I heard that right.
Correct.
And I got the statute with me as well.
And you want to weigh in on that?
Yeah, I agree that insurance premium and longevity are not considered changes in calculation.
So, I know it may be splitting hairs, but an HSA contribution would be considered an insurance premium payment.
I haven't looked into that particularly, but I think
Should be.
Alex
I would
has.
think so,
It
but
should
I
be, yeah, it
think it
should
was
be.
worth the ask.
Yeah, so I know, or Alex has looked into that.
I make a motion to. Let me see what it says. To pass the ordinance 2021-88, amending ordinance 2020-11A.
We have a motion.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I was caught up in the words.
Fritz, did you vote on that or not?
Yes, I
Okay.
did, because I read it today
Okay.
earlier.
Well, actually, that's a June.
Yeah, I'll have to come back to
So, yeah,
that.
we're not signing out. Don't- I just know that. All right. No other unfinished business? Got more than- come back to the next meeting.
Yes, right. That's done it.
All right, town reports. Joe?
Just a couple of items. Main Street project's coming along nicely. We are very fortunate to see the railroad show up unexpected. We've been trying to contact them to get out there to fix the crossing, and they called me on a Friday, said we'll be there Monday to close the road. So it just kind of, and the contractors that we've got up there working were planning to work around the railroad that week, and they had their flagger scheduled for that, but it kind of pushed them back. But I'm not complaining. I mean, it's gonna be nice to have that crossing done when they're complete. We are talking to them about adding a few extra days on their contract, just because this did push them back a little bit, and with a couple of other minor changes. I think we're still gonna get the project done just as quick, but the contract, I believe, was a few days prior as far as the road closure and the detours and everything. I think they're gonna have that portion of it done. They're gonna have some temporary road closures, I guess, or lane restrictions when they're doing the milling and paving, but they'll have flaggers out there, so the road will be open. There won't be any concrete barriers or anything for that. So we'll keep them moving. I know Missy and myself and Andy met with our insurance agent earlier, was it last week, or the week prior?
Last week.
And just going over some different training and different things that they've got to offer. And they do have a grant available to communities. And we did submit some suggestions for them for some equipment that we would like to have. That's, I guess, the project or the work that we would do would be exercising valves. Because we've got over 600 valves, 36 turns down, 36 turns back. Sometimes it takes two guys to crank on them. So we submitted that to IPEP and our insurance company, and they seem to thought it would have a really big chance to get funded. So we're anxious to get that officially submitted and hear back from them, see if we can get that. And other than that, I plan on taking off for the rest of the week, use up some vacation.
Oh, well, you can do that.
Believe me, it won't be fun. I'll be
The
working.
disaster will occur while you're gone.
I'll be here, so if
Sell it,
anybody
sell
needs
it.
me, I'm still available.
So,
Or they can call me, I can take it, I
They
can take
usually
care
do
of it.
anyway.
I'll take care of it.
What, I noticed, the bump outs at the track, are they deeper than the ones that are on the street already?
It,
It looks.
it really looks that way, and the road looks really, really narrow right
It
now.
does.
Everywhere they put the curb in, they cut out an additional at least 2 feet,
Yeah,
more than what they
yeah.
needed. Once the curb is going back in, there'll be probably 4 foot of asphalt put back in on both sides.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I'm not real crazy about is the curb and gutter, they count the curb or
The
the
flange
gutter
is part of the
portion
road,
as
yeah.
part of the road.
Most people don't know that, and that's what I told Jennifer that too, that
It'll make it look
not
narrow.
everybody pulls up to the curb. Have you noticed that?
Oh, yeah.
They're stopping at that flange, and I'm
What?
like,
I've also seen some nice trucks pull up on top of the side.
Yeah,
yeah,
Hoping
too, right
Yeah.
now.
once the new milling's done, and the new asphalt's down,
it'd be
then when you
level.
pull up, you'll fill the curb. I think right now they're filling the gutter and
Yes,
stuff. So
exactly.
they're not pulling on it.
that we drove up there and we were in the golf cart. I went up there next to the, and I thought, man, that looks tight. That
Yeah.
looks really tight. I'm sure it's partly an optical illusion, but it didn't,
At the railroad?
yeah.
Yeah, Larry and I thought the same thing.
But it is coming out further than the others.
I think it matches about the same. In fact, the contractors went and made a little bit wider than what was even laid out.
Yeah.
By at least a foot.
What was the reason to put all that concrete there anyway?
That was actually not gonna be concrete in the beginning, but CSX would not approve it unless it was solid concrete. Because we were gonna put grass, landscaping, some different
Well, how
things
that
in there.
affect the railroad track?
They were afraid if there was landscaping there, there'd be people out there taking care of the landscaping and being too close to the track.
Mm.
They only want people to cross and get out there. They don't want them hanging out doing. We even talked about putting rock in there. Solid concrete's all they would accept.
So if the railroad track's not open yet,
Not yet. As of today, the contractor, or the CSX contractor didn't show up. I understood Friday, they were supposed to have been done last week. I heard they had 4 days. I mean, through the grapevine, so I can't even say if it's factual or not. But come Friday, I hear that they don't work after 3 o'clock and they don't work weekends. They were having a hard time getting mixed on Friday, so they postponed it. And there was nobody there today, so I don't know why.
And I saw them, they said they were done. And the guy, the flagger guy was there and said, hey, don't forget to make my hotel arrangements.
It is, they're leaving a lot of asphalt for us to do.
And they left after 4 o'clock because they couldn't. I don't
They
know.
left a lot of asphalt out. Now, our guys, they did work with our crew because once they're said and done, we were gonna pave all the way up to the rail, where before we weren't. So there won't be a seam in there, but they should have filled all that area in between there. Just left enough for surface for us. So hopefully they'll be back, maybe they decided they were done.
I don't think they thought they were.
Sounds like they do what they want to do.
They do.
they do, yeah.
Got that.
Any other questions for Joe? No? All right, Pete.
Ethan Luder, Parks Manager for the record. I just got a few things. One, I believe, you guys may have talked about a little bit the last meeting I wasn't here. Just kind of a recap of the firework celebration. Obviously the day went off, very, very well considering we had, potential rain coming in. I made the call to really push it as long as we can, and the only thing we were really shorted was about the last hour. So it turned out, for what it was, it turned out really well. The total day brought in $11,437 for the day. Obviously, we had some expenses along with that. Some of these things, some of the items are items that are going to be reused. We got the blow-ups for the 5K race, which will always be used. So I haven't gone through and broken down line by line. If anybody wants to see that, I can absolutely do that. We had already budgeted around $5,000 in the actual budget for the fireworks, so I didn't include that. Long and the short of it, the net profit for the day after expenditures was right around $5,600, a little over $5,600 and some change. After talking with myself and the Friends of the Park, our goal is to try and do an event in the spring where the proceeds go towards a certain directive. Right now, talking with Joe, I know a lot of people talk about this. One of the thoughts is a permanent restroom and a stage in Landmark Park. So using the spring event to help kind of get that going. The summer event, I think one of the number one things that everybody's concerned with is trails and sidewalks. So continuing the trails and sidewalks out of that summer event profit, and be able to start doing something along the edge of the road in Landmark Park. One of the biggest concerns that I have, and one of the biggest complaints that I get, is there's nowhere for people to walk that isn't on the road and around the park. So that's kind of that goal. We do have a fall event planned. I don't have the details on it yet. I will come before you guys, probably next council meeting, to just kind of give you an idea of what we're planning on for that. But we're planning on doing a dog park event down there. It's going to be obviously a lot smaller. Probably do a DJ and a couple of vendors. And then we'll do 50-50 raffles, that type of thing that's going to be focused mainly for the dogs. So, free toy giveaways and, maybe vet membership type, gift cards or, that type of thing. I believe the vendors, as well as a couple of food vendors and the DJ, will have some specifically dog-oriented vendors down there that sell like homemade chew toys and things like that. It's gonna be a lot smaller. We do plan on doing like a mutt strut around the park. So we'll have everybody probably park over at the community center, walk down to the dog park area, and then we plan on right now looping just the big loop down past the sewer plant and back to the dog park, and then also have a second way to go up and through the woods for anybody that wants to take their dogs up and through the woods. So I'll have a little bit more details on that. And then outside of those two things, our softball league, we had 10 teams, which is 4 more than we had 2 years ago. 2 of them dropped out this past week, but we are set. The schedule's up, and we start playing on Sunday. We've got 8 teams, so should be a good time. Any questions for me?
Have you had a chance to do the school yet, see where we stand on the ownership of Landmark Park?
I have not reached back out to, remind me his name again, the one that we had lunch with.
Mr. Jeff Parker?
The CFO.
Right. Yeah, I'll have to look at it.
We sat down and had a conversation with him about what that looks like. Did you send something to Alex on that as well?
Alex was included in the.
Okay, I haven't seen anything from
Their
Alex.
attorney was-
We'll follow up with
the school,
Alex
their
on that.
attorney, and Alex.
Yeah, and that's one conversation we had when we're talking about Landmark Park and trying to do something over there. Obviously, that's something that's got to get worked out before anything really major can happen over there, as far as I think I'm concerned and the town's concerned, because we don't own the land. And so figuring out, and the school, what I can tell you coming from the initial conversation, the school was very open to it. I don't think anybody really knows, because that contract or that word, the verbiage in there was put in such a way that it's very confusing, I guess, and very hard to change ownership on it. And so I think the attorneys were gonna get together and start looking at that, so.
Greg Evans, is that his name?
Yes,
Thank you.
that's who we talked to. Anything else?
Any other questions for Heath? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Joe, any planning?
Nope.
No? Missy?
I don't believe I have anything, but thanks for the nod, I appreciate it on salary release. But you guys have something for me?
You're welcome.
All right, police chief, Pat.
Just to let you guys know, we filed for the ICJI grant this week to make up for the lost revenue for the gun permits. It's available through 21 through 23. Missy and I worked on getting the numbers, and it's like $3,850 a year. But it's some lost revenue that we'll be able to make back, so that's good. We finished our body cam grant to get your body cams, upgrading body cams. Ours are about 5 years old, and they're starting into the wear cycle where our company won't even warranty them anymore. And you guys all know that we applied for the COPS grant. And then other than that, I would just like to speak with you afterwards pertaining to questions about the police department. And I'm free. You guys got anything for me?
Anything for the chief? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I don't have any updates. All right, anyone from the public wish to speak? Seeing none. Libby?
Nothing.
Tanya?
Nothing.
Fritz? No. Becky?
Nothing.
I've got nothing. Wow. I take a motion to approve and sign vouchers?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Make a motion that we close at, meeting at 7:20.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thanks for coming.
Quick question.
Yeah.